Hello, this is Debbie, and this is Light Up Your Worth. I am so excited that you're joining me here this week. I have another amazing guest for you, Sara Torpey, and she is the creator of Selling for Weirdos, a business coach and a former teacher. She works with current and former teachers to create thriving, profitable businesses without overwhelm, overwork, and burnout that can come with wanting to give big and also grow. She is taught in all the ways, from classrooms K to 12, in person, online, and has grown two successful businesses. Today, she combines her teaching skills and business knowledge to help other current and former teachers create their dream businesses. Welcome, Sara.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here with you. This is such a treat. Thank you.
Love the name Selling for Weirdos.
It makes me smile every time I write it, but it is the best name I've ever given anything, because people either get it and are like, tell me more, or they're like, what? And then, and when people look at me like I've lost my mind, they're not my people. Like, they sorted themselves right out. So people either get it or they don't, and that's perfect. So I love it for that. That's been fabulous. Somebody actually said, you can't call it that. And I was like, why? She was like, I don't like it. And I was like, well, okay, well, it's maybe not for you then.
I think you just filtered yourself right out.
She was like, you can't call it that. And I was like, too late. Too late. Ship sailed.
One of the things I really love, because I've joined your Facebook group, I received this incredible opt-in, which was so brilliant, is the focusing on one goal versus goals for that whole feeling of overwhelmed. And I thought, wow, isn't it nice to have something that can remind us to focus?
I'm a big fan of one goal, because for me, at least in my head, if you say, Sara, what are your 3 goals? What happens to me then is that the minute I start to take actions, they compete with each other. Because you have 3 goals in the same place, then all the actions are equally important. And then I don't know what the hell to do. Then I'm up the creek, because then I'm overwhelmed. If I have one goal over everything else, things don't compete the same way. It all shakes out easier, and I don't have to fight it. It makes it so much simpler in my head. I don't know how people do it with 6 goals at a time. I can't see straight when that's happening.
I used to do it better. But at this season in life, my nervous system doesn't go along for the ride anymore. It's like it has its own agenda, and it wants things more simplified and more straightforward. I'm not able to multitask at the level I used to. And honestly, I don't know how good I really was multitasking. And then you go back and you realize that really wasn't all that great. Maybe it showed of you just trying to plow through things.
I used to be better at it, but now I just don't want to. Can I have 6 jobs? Absolutely. Do I want them? No, I want to do one thing at a time. And I think we go through that phase where we do everything all at once. And we have 76 goals, and we have a million competing priorities, and we figure it out. And what we figure out by doing that is that it's no fun. And nobody wants to do that forever. That seems eventually like you get burned out, and then you're like, wait, did I have to do this like this? And did it help me? I don't know. I'm a fan of, I learned it the hard way once. Do I have to learn it the hard way 12 times? It's made me learn this time. Sometimes I need 12 times. Most of us are. But I don't want to do it like that. And I don't want other people to have to do it like that.
Do you believe that is part of our being raised? Like, I consider a teacher being put into like a corporate world is different than corporate, but you're still forced to be put into this box of balancing, whether you're an educator or you're in corporate America, and then you step out on your own to build something. And we bring ingrained programming with us.
Yes. And what's funny is I was outlining a podcast. I have a podcast, and I was just outlining the next episode earlier today, which is about like how to decide what your own schedule for work is.
Mm,
Because I get that question so much from people because people are like, but my work day is from 8 to 4. Who says? Does it have to be that many hours the same every day? Does it have to, do you need that much time to do the things that matter in your day? Does it matter the same every day? So many of us go into business to have the flexibility and then get here and put the old rules on it.
mhm.
We're like, that's how work works. No, it's not. I forget that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not at my desk. It's 8:30. And then I'm like, oh wait, who's the boss? Ooh, me. There are societal structures and ways we've been taught, and we come in to do our own thing and we're like, oh, well, that's how it works. No, it's not. That's tricky.
How can we help break through that?
The first is, what do I actually need?
Mhm,
Because I think what I have had to practice as a human being, as a business owner, how to ask myself what I need and then listen,
mhm.
which is hard as women in societal structures, as parents, to ask that question, hear the answer, and do that is a big deal. But I think it's like, what do I need from my time today? And then thinking about what really matters. For me, the highest need is flexibility. If the whole reason I'm here is to have flexibility and I'm not using it, why am I here? Why am I
Mm.
fighting so hard to grow a business that I'm not using the flexibility from? Like, why? What's the point if I'm not going to use it? Go back to, what do I need and why did I do it this way?
I really like that too. I have a good friend who is coming out of the school system as well as a
Mhm.
psychologist, and
Yep.
she's into fitness and wellness and having a previous husband who had MS. So she was the primary breadwinner and raised children. So
Yeah.
now she's stepping out into this, and it was her fitness kept her mental health in check to be able to carry and have such a resilience through it. And
Yeah.
so as she's stepping out into building this, she's okay, I'm starting my day with my workout.
Yes. Yes.
She's because I can. And she
Because I
says,
can't.
maybe I should be pushing this, building this more, working on it every day. She just put out her first offer, and I'm so proud of her. And I thought, wow, yes, that is why you're doing this too, so that you are taking care of your own mental health and remembering why she's helping others use wellness and fitness
Yeah.
to help mental health through life's challenges.
What a model she'll be, right? If what she gets to do, because we get to choose, is say, I don't talk to people before 10, between when I get up and 10 a.m. is my time,
Mhm.
the people she helps get permission to do their version of that. Even if that's the only help she gives, imagine the difference. When I tell people I have a kid to take to a rock climbing competition, I won't be at my desk on Friday, except for an hour. I get to do that because that's the business I built. I do that on purpose. I get to do that. I get to choose that. And maybe other people want their flexibility in other ways, but we all get to decide. And that's the magic. My son will say, can we do this? I'll say, well, I'll check with my boss. And then he'll be like, he's 10. He'll be like, that's me. I'll let you know if she's in a good mood. He'll be like, all right, see if she's in a good mood.
It's following our own guidance of
Yes.
what we need and figuring that out. Flexibility is yours. I think it's a lot of entrepreneur thing. And to be able to do that, we actually have to have revenue also coming in. We have to make those sales. I wanted to talk about, what do you see with newer or maybe even seasoned entrepreneurs
Yeah.
when they're going to put together like an offer?
Yes.
Like how much more complicated we make it or how we simplify it, but what are some things get in our way as entrepreneurs?
Let me lead by saying, like, anything I'm going to tell you right now, I have also done. Every mistake we can name, I have made. I have done them all. So please never feel alone or Sarah said I did this thing wrong. Sarah has done all that. Disclaimer right there.
Okay.
I think we build too much before we tell people what we have. I think about all the time is I have this way I want to help people. Maybe it's coaching, maybe group coaching, maybe a program. What's the simplest path to get that to them? The simplest path is telling people I have it and letting them say yes. I have one client who makes a flyer. She hands it out at church and they send her an email. That's the entirety of how it works. And it's fine. That's it. That's it. Will it grow? For sure. Almost no technology involved. No website, no funnel, no landing page. There's nothing. Slowly over time, is she going to build an email list out of that? Yes. So that she can email them all the next event? Absolutely. But there's nothing after that because the simplest thing for her to do is hand it to the people she wants to help. We want to have all the things in order. I am a perfectionist. I want to have all the ducks in order before we go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But ducks don't stand in line. Ducks are misbehaved little critters. Sometimes there's 2 chickens and a bluebird, and they're not even all ducks, and there's a frog in there, and it's like, what the hell? What is happening? You're trying to get them in line before you can start, but that doesn't pay you.
Mm-hmm.
The simplest path to helping people is also the simplest path to getting paid. Can you build the funnel as you go? Yes. Do you have to have it done to start? No. I had a client yesterday in offer hours with me. She said, I have this idea. It's not quite ready. Should I wait till it's ready? I was like, no. Why can't people say yes to you now? If they know it's for them, they can say yes today. So I wish people would just say what they have, even if the stuff's not built. Who cares? If the people come, it'll get built. You're never going to be like, oh, no, sorry, I took your money and I gave you nothing. We all have too much integrity for that. We love the people we want to help. We want to do the work, but we get really lost in I need all the pieces to be right before I start.
What I've experienced is you have great ideas where you want to help.
Yeah.
But you don't have enough people saying this is the outcome, or maybe you get people to go through it and they're not. Sometimes people don't want testimonials. They might have gotten some results, but they can't put it into words.
Yeah.
How it's changed them. And so they don't do anything and you can't write it for them. And we're constantly asked, I actually understand what value I'm giving because it seems gray.
I was talking to somebody yesterday. I try to look at every day and be like, okay, what is something that came out of the work I do today that would be useful to somebody? I was talking to a client last week and we're coming to the end of our work together. She was writing on her paper and she looked up and she goes, oh, I figured it out. And I was like, what did we figure out? She goes, I just realized that the whole time we've been working, what I've been going towards is that the more me I am, the easier everything is. And there it is. She's talking in a marketing perspective and a sales perspective, but if she's doing the things that she loves, even in those worlds where she's a little uncomfortable, if she's talking to people and marketing and talking about the things she does in a way she loves, it all works easier. And she was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, we probably all need that stamped on our foreheads. I think it's our jobs as business owners to take each example and pull them out and be like, okay, what did this person come to me for? I have this little chart I make in my notebook all the time. And it's the first column is name. The second column is what's the problem? So it'll be like person X came to me because they feel overwhelmed by selling. And then column C is, okay, what's the solution? And then column D is how do I share? And it's just, I try to make them one line at a time. I go through all my people and I write one line about each. Everybody's got something different. For me, it helps to make it short.
Making it simple.
I make a chart. There's nothing I can't make into a chart. On a spreadsheet, I got you. I can make everything into a chart. Why did they come? What's one thing they got, right? And talk about it. You did the work too. Maybe you don't name them, but you can say, here's something I've been working on with somebody.
That's really powerful. That's a really good idea for somebody to go put in. They can handwrite it if they don't want to do a spreadsheet. I
I'll
love
choose,
spreadsheets.
I almost always handwrite it, but
Yeah,
that's fair.
I love spreadsheets myself. So, how do you help people bridge that gap? If you're not making sales, you just have an expensive hobby.
It's often not a hobby, it's a mission.
Mm.
If you're not making sales, you have a mission, not a business. So you're asking how we go from mission to business.
It's the first part of it, I think, where people really really stuck when they're trying to. I'll speak for myself. You have an outside job
Yes,
building, so overwhelm can come pretty easy because there is a lot to do, and you don't necessarily have the income unless your job is supporting the business.
correct.
So you really have to really get really good at your goal
Yep,
that you're going to do. But those cells are so crucial to get you to a point to where you can start to have some reoccurring income enough to where you're able to step away and then
yep,
do different focus, right?
yep.
Start building the email or
I
whatever
did.
it
I
is
hear you.
next.
Yep. So I think for me, the thing I go back to time and time again is if you aren't talking about it, they can't buy it.
Mm,
People can't buy what they don't know exists. And so on any given day, my highest order job as a business owner is to tell people I have a business that they can buy from. And if I do that in some way every single day, people come. My commitment isn't to talk about it every day or talk about X particular offer every day. That to me is selling.
mm-hmm,
Selling is saying, hey, but the other thing I would say is that I very much in my head, and part of what I teach in selling for weirdos is I don't think of sales as here's this thing, now you should buy it. I think of it as here's this thing I have. I'm happy to give you what would be helpful, but I want to invite you to pay me. Right? Selling is invitational. It is like inviting people to a party.
mm-hmm.
Right? I get to invite you into my thing. And here's the thing, if you don't want to come to my party, fantastic. It would be rude if I invited you, Debbie, to a party. And when you said no, I went to your house and duct taped you and put you in my trunk so that you could come to the party. Like, that's rude. That's not okay. I don't kidnap partygoers. I don't have to talk you into it
Mm-hmm.
because plenty of people want to come. I have to remember that. For me, it's about making sure that I am A, talking about it, but B, saying, I have this useful thing. I would love to invite you to talk to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And just over and over again, my husband calls it bad penny syndrome. You just show up with the bad penny that never goes away. I'm not going away. I am not going to be the reason this doesn't work. What do you think?
When I think of showing up every day, I think, how am I going to show up every day?
Mm,
What's the form? Is it different every day? One day live on Instagram or Facebook in my group, or is it an email? You can
yeah,
see
well,
my mind
here's the
starts
question
going,
I would
right?
here's the question I would ask you. What if you made a list of all the options and on any given day you just picked the one you loved? What if you made a list, be live on Instagram, post on Facebook, send an email, write a tiny post, tell a story. Every day you just picked one. And that was the one. For me, actually what would happen is I laugh, but what I would have to do, because I would never pick off the list, I would have to make something up, is I would have to cut those little pieces of paper, put them in a cup and pick one every day.
Oh,
I would pick out of a cup every day, and that's what I would do. If I picked out of the cup, I had to do that thing.
actually, that sounds a lot more fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Like it takes it out of something you should do versus something I get to do, and it's different.
You could pick out of the cup every day and leave them out until you run out or put them back in.
Mm.
I try to take as much decision making out of it as possible because that's the thing I get stuck on. Making decisions. You're talking about decision fatigue. Show up every day, but what are the 700 options? Put the 700 options in a cup and pick one. No decision, right? Done.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the other thing I've been doing lately is saying, okay, this week is going to have a theme for the things I talk about. So like this week, the theme is how to close sales. Once a day in my group, I'm talking about how to close sales. Think about your theme, pick from the cup, and not only do you have the topic, but you have the how. And off we go.
Understanding what you're giving to others and how you're
Mm.
serving them.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what your customer is thinking and feeling and experiencing.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I think it's funny. I think about what is the problem they're having right now.
Mm-hmm.
I ask myself two questions. What's the problem they're having? What's the pain point? The other question is, what do I have today that would be useful to one person?
Mm.
Not everyone, one person. Because I can conceive in my head about being helpful to just one person today.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm trying to help everybody at once, it becomes hard because I don't know what everybody needs. I can think of one person and I know what to say. But if it's going to help, I was a classroom teacher. The thing I used to say to kids all the time was like, listen, if you raise your hand to ask a question, I guarantee you're just the brave one who asked the question that 10 other people had. If I help one person with one thing, it's probably going to be useful for more than one. But what would be useful to people today? Like I try not to overthink that too
Mm-hmm.
much. Because if I said to you today, what would be something useful you could share today? What would you say? What do people need to remember?
I really think people need to remember joy. I am reminding myself every day in experiencing some joy because of other struggles. If I don't focus on joy, I can go down the rabbit hole of
All the
despair
things.
and
Yes.
shame and the overwhelm of other things that are happening in life. And that doesn't serve me or anybody else. Yesterday, I shared about banana bread.
That's a joy, but at least in my house.
It smells so good. Unfortunately, I baked 4 loaves, and I think I'm going to end up eating 3 of them. I gave one away. We're in the country. I visit the goats. I have 2
Yeah.
sets of goats here. I juice every day with celery. These 4 goats weren't socialized as young ones. They're a little over a year now, and they come running to me up to the gate. That brings
Hi,
me
Brent.
joy. Happy to see me. They're wagging their little tails. I don't know what that means in goat language,
Happy.
but it does. I've been focusing on joy versus gratitude, what's impacting our mental health. With all the uncertainty. I do energetic works, healing arts. The energy is easy to pick up.
Joy could be your theme of the week. Joy could be your theme of the month. You could talk about joy every day and never run out of things to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's a separate conversation. The second thing, there's a difference between joy and gratitude, like you just said, because I think gratitude is externally faced. We are grateful for this thing outside of us so often,
Mm-hmm.
but joy is ours. And I think that's different. I think about joy as like things that I just naturally am responding to versus things that I feel grateful to, which feels very different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tend to, have you read this poet and essayist? His name is Ross Gay. He wrote The Book of Delights is basically like for a year, he wrote a little mini essay on something that delighted him. And then he compiled the best ones. And there's these little tiny delights. It's like lovely. It's a lovely
Oh,
little book for that kind of thing.
I like that idea. I really like that idea of taking something that you're experiencing and using that. Would it be useful for somebody else? We are connecting to people. That's why the podcast brings me joy. I feel connected to people, having real life conversations, nothing scripted, and seeing where it goes, right? With the knowledge that you have, but gives in essence, and we hear this a lot doing podcast, is that
Yeah.
it's for them get to share knowledge, but it's really them getting to know you.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I really have always believed in highlighting what others are doing
Mm.
because I believe in the work I believe in what you're doing, Sarah. Selling for weirdos, right? That is just naturally gonna, you know, bring in someone who's, oh, I like her sense of humor, right? Like she gets it. I was curious about selling,
Mm.
communicating, and connecting with people. But is there a connection between being of service, giving to others, and selling?
Yes. For me, that was the biggest change to how I sell. So many sales courses and in so many of this is how you do it books.
Mhm.
They're like, but you build a value ladder and then you only give this much away for free and then you make sure you don't give too much. And there are all these rules about how much you're allowed to give. At some point, I was like, I'm just going to do what I want. I really like to give. My whole Facebook group, I do workshops, I do all kinds of stuff. There are no rules. I do what I want. I've had people say those should be paid things. I don't want them to be. So what? So I am a big believer in I give as much as I want until it starts to feel like something that I should be paid for. We know the difference internally.
Mhm.
You know what you're willing to give and where the line is for you.
Mhm.
Sometimes we hop our own lines. We start giving more than we're receiving and disbalance it. My job is to the pan balance in line, right? Where as much as I give, I am receiving. Sometimes I receive in money, sometimes in joy, sometimes in good done in the universe, and sometimes I receive in different ways. As a business owner, my job is to receive in money. Selling is a giving process. Every time I make an offer, every time I show up and talk about my business, somebody learns something. I'm giving them something, no matter what.
Mhm.
And to know that is true. If I say, hey, I have this thing that might help you, that is an opportunity for me to give them more. It's just in a paid way. It's another way to give what I have to people in a way that's meaningful for them. I can sell that. It's a crap ton easier than selling algebra to 13-year-olds that don't want it. Like,
I liked algebra when I was 13, just so you know.
yeah,
I was one of those weirdos.
not every kid is sold and you have to sell them all, but your business, nobody has to be sold except the people who want to be.
Mhm.
And that's magic. I can give them as much as I want.
Mhm.
That I get to make those rules. And people will say sometimes, like I have, sometimes people will say, I want to do this with you, but I can't pay for that. And I'll be like, okay, we're going to do it anyways. Or I'll keep a client for less money for a while because there's something going on. Like I do stuff like that because I want to. And those are choices I get to make as a business owner. Nobody gets to make those rules but me.
I think it makes sense. I've gone back and forth. I have a Facebook group and I've had it for 4 years, trying to figure out what feels good. For a while, I was giving a lot. There's a energetic healing that happens with in the subconscious brain. And so about beliefs are stored in our body. At one point, I was giving like 3 energetic sessions a week,
Oh, wow.
way too much.
Yeah. Because you tripped over the line, right? You were like, ooh, this is too far.
It's too
Right.
far. And then I started to feel a little resentful.
Yeah.
If you want a one-on-one session, we can go into your own. Nothing, right? It was crickets,
Yeah.
crickets. And I would help people. I'm always going to help people. That's what it's the essence that brings me joy until it gets to a certain point. In the Facebook group, I was doing too much. Then I stopped. I thought, okay, I'll do something a couple times a month. That even started to feel too much. I used to do card pulls every week, and because I love to do that as well, individual ones. And so now
Yeah.
I've settled on a monthly energetic healing. That feels good.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
feels really good, feels really balanced. I have a membership 3 weeks out of the month because you need some integration time for
Right.
it to work. Your body needs to absorb the healing. And so that feels really good. So if people want
Yeah.
more, they have a low cost option. And then
Yeah.
I've even built it where if they want a one-on-one monthly, there's just a higher tier point for
Yeah. Tier.
want that.
Well, that's the thing about it all. It's wait, where's the line for me?
Mm.
Everybody's got a spot where you tip over and have to notice it. If we continue too far too long, we get burned out and unhappy.
Mhm.
And then you took this thing that you really loved and turned it into something that's driving you insane. Everybody feels that. My group is 4.5 years old. It took me a long time, but I've settled into the rhythm the way I like it. Honestly, for me, it's like when I have an idea about doing a workshop, I just do it. I have no rhyme or reason to it. It's just I get excited about doing something and I do. And that's what we do.
I like that because I have a couple bubbling half-done workshops. I'm ready to do this.
Well, then just when
But
you're ready, it's time, right? Just do. People will be like, do you have a plan? Sure, I have a plan-ish. I'm trying to be better about having a real plan before. But in my Facebook group, I feel open to doing, guys, we're doing a thing. It's going to be fun. I do.
what is one piece or two, if you can't pick one, that you would really want somebody to think about when they're waiting to put out offers or consistently put out offers?
If you're waiting, the thing I think about is who is served when you wait? And the answer is not you, not your business, not the person you're trying to help.
Mm.
It's like, who am I helping as I wait here? No one. We all try to refine things as much as we can before we put them out, but there is no replacement for saying the things. You're just going to say it 1,000 times. So you get 1,000 chances to say it the way you want. So the first one doesn't have to be perfect, and the 100th one doesn't have to be perfect, and the 539th, you get 1,000 of them. Waiting serves no one. You're going to get all the chances. So you might as well just do the thing.
Yeah. For all of us who overthink, feel overwhelmed, perfectionists, pretty much everybody, I can tell you that
Yes.
from the energetic clearing. It's in all of our subconscious.
Same. And I'm a big fan of, I'm going to set a 3-minute timer, and whatever I write in the next 3 minutes is what I'm putting out. At the end of 3 minutes, I can proofread it and then it's got to go. Otherwise, I will poke and poke. I don't have time. I have other things to do. I want to help people. I have to be responsible to myself.
I've done that maybe without the timer, but thinking I'm just going to pour this all out. I don't proof it, Sarah. That's not always a good thing. I've
I
had
don't
people
either.
come
Don't
back
worry.
in emails telling me I should get a proofreader. I'm like, you're not my person because I swear, and I am not a grammar
Same.
queen.
Correct.
And
Same.
my boyfriend, just so you know, is a professional editor. And he's, if you just send it over to me, I can catch your pretenses because you pour your heart into these. But that's
Well, but the
distracting for
people
some
who are
people.
reading for my heart are going to just read them for the content, not the editorial capacity. I just make up. I have a friend who will read my stuff sometimes, and she'll be like, "That's not even a word." I'm still going to use it because I would say it out loud. We've been friends since we were 12. I can feel her rolling her eyes, and still I do it. So don't feel bad. It's not just you.
And that's because Sarah is the CEO.
Oh yeah, I'm
Great.
the boss of this house. Let's go.
Yeah. There is two questions that I'd like to ask all my guests, Sarah. And the first one is, I believe in the power of music to
Mhm.
uplift us, change our mood, make us dance around, embarrass our kids, all the stuff. And
That's what.
so I wanted to know, what's that song for you?
Yes, it is the same song it's been since high school, which is funny. It's Faith by George Michael. It's on every playlist I've had. 2 years ago, I started making playlists by feeling.
Mm.
I have a joy playlist, which is one of my kids' favorites in my car. If we come across a happy song, they'll be like, that goes on joy. And we dump songs into it that make us happy. Everybody should also have a joy playlist because it's the best thing I own.
Oh,
Um,
I love that because I just got the visual of in the movie Inside Out,
yes,
with all the little
yes.
characters. You can just see
Yes.
joy.
Yes, you need a playlist for that. And
Mhm.
so what I did initially was go to all my people on Facebook and friends and family, and I was like, all right, we're making a joy playlist. What would you put on here? And we sorted through and we pulled the ones we liked. It changes some, but it's so fun. It's such a good list.
I love that. I think I'm going to steal that. You're going to see that on my
Please.
Facebook.
It was well worth it. People had such good
Yeah.
ideas. I was in a store the other day and Son of a Preacher came on. And I
Mhm.
was like, ooh, that belongs on the Joy playlist. I love that song.
Mm.
Constantly, I'm like, ooh, that one could go all
Yeah.
the time.
Love that idea too. The second question I have is where you are now, this season of life. If you could go back and talk to your younger self about your own worth, what would you tell yourself?
That you'll always know who your people are. That you always have people rooting for you and you have fans no matter what. And it doesn't need to be everybody. And I think that applies as a business owner and as a parent and as a friend and as a family member and as all the things. But I think that is the thing that took me a really long time.
Mm.
And I am happy to be squarely in knowing in my 40s most of the time. But like at 25, I had not even seen that over the rainbow yet. And that I'm not sure she could have heard me, right? Because I think you have to bang your head against that one maybe a little bit. Maybe it was just me. But I really do. That's the one where it's your people are rooting for you. That would be it.
That's beautiful. That's so true.
Mm.
There's always somebody rooting for you.
But we forget that.
And
we don't believe it, and we should.
Yes, love that. So now, Sara, how can people reach you?
I have a Facebook group called Uncomplicating Business for teachers, helpers, and givers. And I think everybody's a teacher. So if you feel like you want to come in, don't be freaked out by the name. It's okay. I also have a podcast with the same name. My website is torpeycoaching.com. Honestly, like, I'm a human. Let's connect. Just be like, find me on LinkedIn or wherever makes you happy and come play. Like, I like the people part of business best. My introverted self 5 years ago would have been like, you're funny. But I really do enjoy the people so much. So that's the best part for me.
Thank you so much, Sara, for
Gosh, thank you
joining
for
us.
having me.
Thanks.